soldier and freedom fighter. Using his Twitter handle, President Emmerson Mnangagwa said Zimbabwe has lost a devoted public servant and a true hero. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Nick Mangwana, through his Twitter handle, said the nation mourns a leader, a friend, colleague, and a key member of the new dispensation. Minister Moyo was a key member of the Second Republic as he played an influential role in the 2017 Operation Restore legacy that ushered in the new dispensation.
To the generality of the people of Zimbabwe, we urge you to remain calm and limit unnecessary movement. However, we encourage those who are employed and those with essential business in the city to continue their normal activities as usual. Our wish is that you enjoy your rights and freedoms and that we return our country to a dispensation that allows for investment, development, and prosperity that we all fought for and for which many of our citizens paid the supreme sacrifice.
A decorated soldier and freedom fighter, retired Lieutenant General Moyo was born in Berengwa and joined the liberation struggle in the 1970s. At independence, he was attested in the Zimbabwe National Army and rose through the ranks to become Major General. Upon retirement from the Army, he was appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade in 2017 and was influential in selling the Zimbabwe is open for business mantra to the international community. The death comes as the nation is battling to contain COVID-19, which continues to claim precious lives, with the Minister of State for Manicaland Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Dr. Ellen Gwaradzimba, having also succumbed to the virus late last week. Meanwhile, the Chinese embassy in Zimbabwe has passed a message of condolence following Lieutenant General S.B. Moyo's death. In a statement, the Chinese embassy says Dr. Moyo has been a dear friend to China and a strong supporter of the deep friendship between China and Zimbabwe, adding his outstanding contribution to the excellent relations between the two countries will be forever remembered. The embassy says, open quote, "In this sorrowful time, we extend our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family, to the government and people of Zimbabwe. May our condolences bring you peace during this sorrowful time. China continues to stand strong with Zimbabwe to overcome the pandemic and all challenges that may come our way in years to come," close quote.
Meanwhile, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has sent a condolence message to the Moyo family following the death of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, retired Lieutenant General Dr. Sibusiso Moyo.
The death of Minister Moyo following COVID-19 related complications has come as great shock to government and the nation at large. Born in 1916 in Berengwa, the late Dr. Moyo had his high school studies interrupted when he joined the liberation struggle and distinguished himself as a courageous freedom fighter to liberate the country from colonialism. At independence, he was attested into the Zimbabwe National Army, which he served with gallantry and characteristic loyalty. He rose through the ranks until he became part of the top command of the security establishment. President Emmerson Mnangagwa said he appointed the late Dr. Moyo as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade after noting his commitment to the freedom and development of the country. The president added that his government relied on his determined execution of the engagement and re-engagement policy, which sought to embrace the rest of the world while repairing relations with those countries which had taken a position against Zimbabwe over the legitimate and principled decision to recover its land. Through the late minister's patience and perseverance, Zimbabwe has expanded friendships and registered significant diplomatic gains and victories across the globe, noted Comrade Mnangagwa. Expressing his sincere and heartfelt condolences, Comrade Mnangagwa urged the Moyo family to derive solace and comfort from the distinguished role Dr. Moyo played in the service of his people and nation, which shall be remembered and honored across generations. Tentai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, condolence messages continue to pour in following the death of retired Lieutenant General Dr. Moyo this morning. In a statement, Zanu-PF Party's national spokesperson, Ambassador Simon Moyo, says the death of Dr. Moyo has robbed the nation of a dedicated veteran of the liberation struggle, decorated military luminary, and an accomplished academic whose service to the nation is invaluable. Ambassador Moyo said the late Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister will be remembered for his meticulous maneuvers on the diplomatic front, which have seen the party and the Second Republic's engagements and re-engagement drive bearing fruit. He said the late Minister SB, as he was affectionately known, was a principled revolutionary, focused, courageous and forthright character who served his country pre- and post-independence epoch with distinction. Meanwhile, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Dr. Naledi Pandor, says she learnt with shock of the passing of a colleague. She said in open court on behalf of President Cyril Ramaphosa, the government and the Republic of South Africa and its people wish to convey heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Zimbabwe. The South African minister noted that since his appointment in 2017 as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Minister Moyo displayed true Pan-Africanism in the way he led on several important issues affecting the SADC region. Elsewhere, the death of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, retired Lieutenant General Dr. Moyo, has robbed the Mberekwa community of a torchbearer and a man who had set sights on implementing developmental projects in the district.
Zimbabwe lost one of its best ministers. Unfortunately, yes, and we can see the COVID-19 doesn't skip anyone, and this is why the instructions of the government must follow by each one of us, because it's saving lives. The moment I heard this bad news, I picked up the phone and I called the Rabbi on Mount Zion and the head of the church in Bethlehem to hold special prayer in memory and in honor of His Excellency Zimbos Moyo. Please, let's take this day to pray for him, because he did a lot to Zimbabwe.
That he should rest in peace and we should not see any more pain. Amen.
This morning we received the sad news about the loss of Zimbabwe's Foreign Minister, His Excellency Zimbos Moyo. I'm here in this holy place, the birthplace of our Lord Jesus Christ, to pray for him, and may he rest in peace, and that comfort will be upon his family.
Zimbabwe's honorary consul to Israel, Mr. Ronnie Levi Musan, and clergymen from Jerusalem there, sending their message of condolences to the Moyo family and the nation at large following the death of Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister, retired Lieutenant General Dr. Zimbos Moyo. On the other hand, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Senator Monica Mutangwa, has called on a paradigm shift in the war against COVID-19 if the country is to reverse the current surge in infections and death. Minister Mutangwa said this in Mutare as she mourned the late Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, retired Lieutenant General Dr. Zimbos Moyo, as well as another close relative of hers, Comrade Daniel Parenyatwa.
It is a difficult moment for the nation as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect every family. For the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Senator Monica Mutangwa, the news of the death of retired Lieutenant General Dr. Moyo came as a great shock on the day a brother, Comrade Daniel Parenyatwa, was laid to rest.
It is a terrible and painful loss of a great patriot. He was central to the peaceful transfer of power through the 2017 November restoration of the revolutionary legacy. His meticulous planning and execution of pertinent activities and events saved the nation from chaos and bloodshed. He cultivated a symbiotic relationship with my Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services as we worked together to rebrand the image of Zimbabwe.
Speaking earlier on at Gombakomba village at the burial of Comrade Parere Nyatwa, the minister and other mourners described the late Parere Nyatwa as a great loss to the family and the nation, especially considering his illustrious 40-year service in the health sector.
We are here adhering to COVID-19 regulations because it's important that we protect ourselves. From the time he got sick, we as a family unfortunately could not interact with him. He was always in isolation, and that's the most terrible thing, that the loved ones, you can't actually be with them up to the last minute. What we want to say to Zimbabweans, as the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, we've always talked as government that it's important to adhere to the measures to contain the spread of this disease. What it means is it's not the president who wants you to stay at home and suffer. This is about life and death. And I'm saying, kune vanhu vemuZimbabwe, ngatiregei kupfeka mask nekuti pane mupurisa angandisunga. Ngatiregei kungobuda mumba pasina chikonzero chakakodzera. Ngatigarei mumba. Kana kumarufu ndosaka muri kuona hanzvadzi yangu nekuzikana nebasa rese raaita, hapana vanhu nekuti tatokaunda manhambasi anodiwa nehurumende.
Havaida ikoko chete sekurudhani, vaida kwese kwakaroorwa hanzvadzi dzavo, kwamoyo pane kutaura kwaElizabeth, kwese vakatomboenda kana kuna sisi vavo vanga akaroorwa kuDRC.
Nguva ino yakaoma, ndo kuungana kwetaita panapa, nekuti ndo kuoneka kwakaitwa munin'ina wangu mazuva mashoma pasina mazuva marongomuna. Hatina kumbozvifungira kuti ndio zvingangoiti.
From isusu vana, would like to thank this man. Sezotaurwa naBamukuru kuti munhu akatiendesa kuchikoro tese.
Retired Lieutenant General Dr. Moyo and Dr. Parere Nyatwa died from COVID-19, and amid surging cases and deaths, government continues to call for the public to embrace the fight against the pandemic as a collective responsibility. Kenya Sivuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
Let's now take you to Mberengwa and hear some of the sentiments from legislators who hail from this particular province on their thoughts regarding the death of the late Foreign Affairs Minister.
Indeed, our focus is development and the development of the district of Mberengwa.
A popular figure who was influential in the birth of the Second Republic, retired Lieutenant General Dr. Sbusiso Moyo is no more, but his actions are in the public domain for all to see. Retired Lieutenant General Dr. Moyo was senator for Mberengwa, and in him the people of Mberengwa saw a new era of development beckoning. Mberengwa West Legislator Dr. Joram Gumbo and his Mberengwa North counterpart Comrade Tafana Najo said they are devastated by the loss of a man who had a passion for the development of the district and the nation at large.
Zvinotirwadza nguva ino mushure mekunge tabva kurasikirwa zvakare na retired Brigadier General Colin Moyo akadeclarwa national hero. Zvinotirwadza kuti tabva tarasikirwa nerimwe gamba redu remuMberengwa iro ranga richipusha mune zvebudiriro. Senator Moyo vanga vari unifier, vanga vachibatanidza vana veMberengwa, uye vanga vari munhu anga achida development kuti ibudirire mukati menzvimbo yeMberengwa. Nguva zhinji munhu anga achita less talk but more results. Pane pese patachishanda results aionekwa. Pane zvimwe zvinhu zvanga achitiremera iyo vaipindira sasenator wedu wokuMberengwa, tichiwanika zvichibudirira, tichiwana results ku central government.
In his capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, retired Lieutenant Dr. Moyo was at the forefront of marketing brand Zimbabwe. Prior to his untimely departure, Dr. Moyo had completed the Jeka Hospital piped water system and he had set plans in motion to unlock market synergies for Mberengwa's Chimwe irrigation scheme and the revival of vocational training centers across the 4 constituencies of Mberengwa. Mtogozi Stube, ZBC News, Mberengwa.
Now, some Zimbabweans are still resisting adapting to the new normal in light of the devastation caused by the global pandemic COVID-19. One of the customs that Zimbabweans are dangerously holding on to is attending funerals in numbers and shaking of hands at these events.
The battle to control the COVID-19 pandemic continues, yet some cultures remain stubbornly imprinted within the society, providing a breeding ground for the virus that is claiming more lives with each passing day. Death is finding new ways to attract its victims, as funerals are drawing large numbers, making it easy for the virus to spread. People are still dangerously clinging to the custom of shaking hands at funerals. This is exposing them to infection and possibly more funerals and more infections in a vicious circle that can only be arrested by a radical adoption of the new normal. Experts fear the worst, sliding into a third wave, as they now view funerals as super spreaders of the virus.
Avoid those gatherings. Believe you me, the reason why we are where we are today with the second stage really raging on now in Zimbabwe is because we didn't listen. We are saying let's manage this surge now as much as we can. Bring it down, lock down, so that if you already have it, it dies off without you spreading it. Then we start afresh.
At the rate at which the virus is claiming lives on a daily basis, it has increasingly become necessary for the public to adjust to the new normal, which has seen holding or shaking hands and embracing at funerals becoming a dangerous catalyst for the spread of the virus. But even as death is respected, safeguarding the remaining lives is probably the priority now.
We have heard some people, again, disregarding these restrictions put in place by the government. And I want to remind Zimbabweans that funerals are still restricted to the figure of 30 people. And what it entails is, unless if there is a special consideration which has been given by the government, people should observe this figure. There are no negotiations, there is no compromise. This has been done for the safety of all. And the police officers will be moving around to ensure compliance.
Awareness programs on the pandemic at national level have been commendable, but this is an effort that has also meant effective participation of every stakeholder to improve efficacy on message delivery. Unfortunately, the public is waging a bitter battle to derail efforts to contain this pandemic. Statistics from the Zimbabwe Republic Police show that 2,911 arrests of COVID-19 regulation violators have been made as of this Tuesday, 19th of January. Of those arrested, 911 were people without face masks, while 1,402 were arrested for unnecessary movements.
While government is making every effort to combat the spread of the virus, it appears that message is falling on deaf ears, as this is a situation that is replicated across many centers in the country. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the First Lady, Amayoxile Mnangagwa, has called on women in Zimbabwe and abroad to join her in fasting and praying for the nation in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The First Lady said the fasting is for the nation to be spared from further calamity and suffering and will start tomorrow until Saturday this week. The First Lady noted that every family has suffered the loss of their beloved ones because of the pandemic, hence the need for all women to commit to a 3-day period of fasting and praying for divine intervention. Now, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has announced that it is tightening the curfew as it moves to clamp down on violators of COVID-19 regulations. Zimbabwe Republic Police National Spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner Paul Nyati.
Firstly, the Zimbabwe Republic Police wants to warn the public that tonight police officers will ensure that the curfew order is followed to the letter. And the public should take note that the curfew order runs from 1800 hours up to 0600 hours the next day. So what it entails is no one should be moving either on foot or driving a vehicle during this period. So the police will ensure that the law takes its course, will effect arrests and impound vehicles. And then we want to urge the public not to park vehicles unnecessarily in the CBDs, like what we've witnessed in Harare and Bulawayo. Only those who are under the essential service sector and those who have got exemptions which have been clearly outlined by the government should be parking vehicles in the CBD. So police officers will be moving around to screen vehicles and take action against anyone who will be trying to evade the COVID-19 regulations which have been put in place by the government for the safety of all Zimbabweans, for the safety of individuals, for the safety of families. So let's not take the safety messages for granted. And then we also have the issue of some pirate taxis in the Mushikashika vehicles, which are carrying passengers. In the process, they evade the checkpoints and then carry individuals and groups into the CBD who will take action. And if there are any combi operators, combi drivers or Mushikashika drivers who are conniving with the police officers, who are conniving with the security agencies at the various checkpoint roadblocks, will ensure that action is taken. So let's stay at home. Let's consider the safety of all Zimbabweans. Let's consider the safety of families, individuals, and groups. And we want to appeal to Zimbabweans to report anyone who is openly disregarding the COVID-19 regulations put in place by the government.